We are finally back on Shadow Moss, and it is well past time that I take care of my flower hoarding issue that I've been ignoring forever. So today we are going to rip out all these excess plants and sew with them a tiny piece of my heart. But it's okay, because we'll be doing it to give Shep the groovy mushroom farm of his dreams. We've got a decent area of land to work with for his yard, and this is going to be a pretty funky, fungi themed build, so let's get right into it. The first thing to take care of was to get rid of the final vestiges of my plant hoard. It hurts a little, it does, but it's time. I think Shep was a little sad to see the mess of flowers go as well, because the whole time I was digging everything up, he kept wandering around and smelling all the flowers one last time. So even though it may have seemed like I was using his yard as a junk pile for all my extra plants, clearly he liked it. Maybe I should have given him the flower and bee farm instead of Hazel, but he lives pretty close to all that, and I think he's really gonna like his new yard in the end. Shep just seems like such a stoner hippie dude, so a funky fungi farm is gonna be right up his alley. What mushroom varieties will he be growing? What are they used for? I won't say, but just take a good look at Shep and decide for yourself. What I will say is that whatever is going on in this backwoods farm is totally legal, so do not come for me, Nintendo or YouTube, please. While I was working on cleaning this space up, who do you think I kept running into? Of course, it was Puddles, who I guess I have some sort of a situationship with. I don't know, I'm confused about what our whole deal is still. But anyway, we all know that she loves to be flirty and have a bit of fun making people uncomfortable with her little innuendos and stuff, but today she was going all in with Sahara. First, she called her sweet as a honeybee, which sounds cute and innocent, but with her being a frog, it's got a whole nother undertone to it, which we've talked about before. But then she started waxing all poetic about how she's on the hunt for the perfect rug. Apparently she prefers them big enough to roll around on, cute yet classy, and down for some nighttime dance practice. I mean, I like a good rug too, down with all that waxing and shaving business. But that was a little bit more detailed than I needed, Puddles. I don't know if this was meant to be just a girl pal dish session about a new crush, or if she was trying to make me jealous and test out my feelings for her, or if she was just being her normal mischievous self and trying to make people squirm. Puddles is so wild and confounds me on the daily, but I kinda love that about her. Maybe I do need to just get my shit together and make this woman my girlfriend already. Alright, back to the build now. I put up some simple panels and a gazebo to make a sunroom porch thing on the side of Shep's house. Then with those green retro transportation stops, I made him a little garden shed on the end. I wanted this place to look like he just kept DIYing additions onto his original house, so it's now this big amalgamation, hodgepodge mess, but it works for him. I know it's been quite a while since we've played Animal Crossing, but a few of my Sims videos kicked off a little bit, so I was busy doing some extra builds over there for a while. I also tried a few times to get started on this build, but I just hadn't been feeling very inspired, so I put it off for a bit. But I swear I did not forget about my Animal Crossing viewers. It's weird, for a while the Animal Crossing videos on my channel were the ones that were doing the best, then those fell off and suddenly I had a few Sims builds do really well, but now those seem to be cooling off again too. Yeah, I just don't ever seem to know what the YouTube algorithm is gonna like, nor do I have the time nor mental bandwidth to invest in optimizing my channel, so we're just gonna be riding the waves of whatever comes our way over here. I'm just sticking to putting out videos whenever I feel inspired to do so, and whenever I have enough time and motivation to get them done, and that's the way it's gonna be. But hey, this channel is just a hobby and a way for me to connect with you lovely people, so that's totally fine by me. To help get myself motivated to work on this build, I've been watching a lot of Animal Crossing content. I don't know about you, but if I'm not in the mood to play a specific game or do a certain activity, watching a YouTube video on that thing instantly makes me want to do that. So I've been watching a lot of stuff from maybe Salem and the Amanda Files lately, which besides getting me motivated to play Animal Crossing, has also gotten me back into Neopets. I know, I just talked about this in my last Sims build, but you just may be here for Animal Crossing videos, so you haven't seen that one. Also, I want to talk about Neopets more, and y'all will not stop me. So yeah, I am fully an adult in my 30s, playing Neopets daily, and I'm loving it. I guess it's not such of a stretch, seeing as I already play Animal Crossing, so that's just another little virtual animal world for me to escape reality in. I keep having the urge to do a Neopets video, but I'm not super well versed in the lore, nor do I have any impressive accomplishments this year, so I'm not really sure what I do besides show off my mediocre pets. I love them, but they're nothing amazing. Sorry, pals. I have tons of other videos to work on though, so taking time out for a Neopets video that nobody would probably watch is not the best use of my time right now. But maybe I'm wrong. If I am, let me know. Speaking of video ideas, I've been thinking about what to do for our last few build videos for this island. After this one, we only have a few more areas to do before Shadow Moss is completely finished. I have to do the interiors of Dobie, Hazel, Cherry, and Antonio's homes, then I have to finish the entrance and a few transitional areas, and that's about it. So that's like 3 more build videos maybe? Knowing me, it's still gonna take me like a year to get that done, but I am already brainstorming what to do for our next island. My partner has a Switch and doesn't play their Animal Crossing island, so I am ready to take that over for us. What I'm thinking is going with a sort of frisky vacation island, like a tropical resort for a bunch of thirsty retirees and vacationers. So very different vibes from what we've got going on here, but I think it'll be really fun and we can have such a kooky cast of characters for villagers. Like I said, we have a while to think on it, and maybe I'll change my mind by the time we're ready to start a new island, but I am liking this plan so far. Let me know your thoughts though. What ideas do you have? Which villagers would you want to see us get? Let's chat in the comments. Most of the main pieces are placed for the exterior. Here I'm just planting some more trees and bamboo, then time traveling to get things to grow. After that, I lay down the pathing and do some final touches. So we'll jump over to work on the interior, and I'll show you the final results in the tour at the end. I liked Shep's original home, but the round shape just wasn't working well with the additions I made, so I had to switch it up to a squared off shape instead. I went with a lot of muted browns and taupes for the exterior, sort of mushroom colors. He absolutely got the mushroom wreath on his drawer too. I love that thing, and this is the ideal house to use it on. The interior of his home was decent, but it's too rustic cabin, and we're trying to go with a more groovy 60s, 70s vibe here. I got rid of everything except his record player. That's perfect and got to stay. There are a few really good retro wallpapers that I'd love to use, but I had to go with the mushroom one in here. I wish we could add another room or a second level to our villagers' homes, especially for this house, so that I could have used some of those other wallpapers, but unfortunately we can't, so I just had to deal with it. Retro-themed interiors are some of my favorites in this game and in real life, so I was really excited to incorporate that into Shep's home. I've seen people make conversation pits with those box sofa pieces and had to make one in here for our stoner boy. I mean, come on, that couch is the perfect spot for sprawling out on. I can absolutely see Shep setting up here with his mushrooms or glowing moss and a big pile of snacks to chill out all day long with. We can't make split level floors in the game, so to make this conversation pit seem more like a built-in feature and not just a huge-ass couch in the middle of the room, I boxed it in with a few shelves and tables. In the front right corner of the room, I added in those glowing moss shelves and a big leafy plant. You can make your own assumptions about what those could be referencing. He's primarily a mushroom farmer, but you can guarantee he's not going to let all that glowing moss in the swamp behind his house go to waste. He's got all the stuff you could possibly need. Whether you want to come veg out and eat some snacks on his couch, or sprawl out on the ground outside and become one with the universe. Of course, this would just be due to the fact that his home and personality are just so inviting and comforting, and definitely not due to anything else. Again, this is a totally legal and wholesome mushroom farm, and anything else you're thinking of is incorrect, and you need to get your shit together. The other corner is a little music zone and has his record player. You know this man has an extensive vinyl collection and has something playing at all times. On the wall above it, I hung up a few groovy looking KK albums as well. After finishing up the wall decorations, I completely stuffed every surface in here with any item I saw in the catalog that might work in here. So now I'm working on paring things down and organizing it all. In the moss corner, I put a few items to make it look like his little work zone. This is where he can care for his baby plants and weigh out stuff for selling at his stand. There aren't a ton of mushroom themed items in the game, but I worked in what I could. So I put those jarred mushrooms on the shelf and a warm crock of mushroom soup on the pillows by the couch. There's a few mushroom custom designs in here too, so it's subtle, but it all works, I think. I could not make this type of home without including this little gyroid guy, so I set him up right next to the couch here. I then used the polishing effect to add a little extra flair. Initially, I tried the steam effect, but that was a bit too much and made this place look kind of dirty, I thought. So instead, I used the bubble effect, and I liked that much better. That's about it. So let's go ahead and jump into the tour and take a look at how everything turned out in the end. Here we are on this little surf beach, which is going to lead us towards Shep's house, obviously. Walking into his yard, we've got mushrooms absolutely everywhere. The front part here is the farmed mushroom area, but there are plenty of wild ones to forage for throughout this little forest clearing. Mushrooms love moisture and darkness, so I gave them a little pond and a cave on the right over here. Having this right next to the house reminds me of the mushroom cave from Stardew Valley for some reason, which makes me happy. Here's Shep's farm stand for selling all his mushroom products. The mushroom vendors at farmers markets always seem like cool people and are my favorites to frequent, so I am loving this spot. Walking through this awning thing leads you back into the hidden witchy swamp area of the island. I'll link that video in the card at the end in case you want to check that build out next. Alright, now let's go ahead and take a quick look inside. Okay, I'm butting in here for a sec. It took me like 40 minutes of going in and out of the game, cycling through different times, and listening to this chipper motherfucker just to get this little shit in his house. I swear, if I had to listen to Isabelle one more time, I was gonna throw that drink right in her face. All that to say, I hope y'all appreciate what I went through to get this interior tour. Alright, let's get back into it. Here's the finished interior. All the wood and warm earthy colors make this place feel like such a good spot to hang out all day with our chill boy Shep. I am in love with the cozy retro vibes of this room and would love for my house to look like this in real life. Furniture and decorations are expensive though, even secondhand ones, so it does not, but I'm slowly working on it. Someday I'll have a cozy, funky house, but until then, I'll be hanging here with you, Shep. It took me forever to kick myself into gear and finally get started on this build, but once I did, it all just fell into place so easily, and I really like this groovy little corner of our island. Shep is going to be right at home here, and I will definitely be coming back here when I just need to take a moment and relax with a chill pal. I love chatting with y'all, so let me know what you think of this area and what ideas you have for our future Animal Crossing builds in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, click the like button. It's a quick, kind thing to do, and it really helps out. If you're liking the vibes here, be sure to subscribe too. I'd love to have you here. Remember, be kind to yourself today, and I'll see you next time.